everyone. We are going to continue with the case of the rock and roll dog. We're ready for chapter 6. If you remember when we stopped, Tessa and Cameron, were not very happy with their cousin Nate, and they wanted him to go back and live in California where they used to live, but his mom lives with them, so Granny was telling them he's gonna stay here because he'd be sad if he didn't live with his family. Chapter 6. The next day was Wednesday, and before the first bell rang, Nate's and my teacher called me to her desk. There are a lot of rumors going around about the Song Boys, Cameron, she said. Would you like a chance to address them? I said that depended on what address them meant. Ms. Nichols smiled. It means, would you like to tell everybody once and for all whether they are going to be invited? But I don't know yet, I said. All Aunt Jen told me is she's doing her best. I see, Ms. Nichols said. Well, it's up to you. But I'm afraid it's going to become a distraction if you don't say something. I looked at my toes. I guess I could say something. Good, Miss Nichols said. I'll call on you after the bulletin. At first, when I found out the Song Boys were coming, I thought it was the best thing that ever happened. Now it was more like the worst thing. I hate to talk in front of the class, and it doesn't help that people expect me to be good at it. Just because my mom is good at something doesn't mean I have to be. I listened to the bulletin, wishing it would go on forever, but like always, it ended after the cafeteria menu. And now, class, Miss Nichols said, Cameron wishes to address us. Cameron? Standing up, I heard a rude noise from a desk in the back. Nate. At least I hoped so. So I know everybody's hoping they can come to the White House to see the Song Boys on Saturday. I started. Nate interrupted. Not me. I hate the Song Boys. Nathan, Miss Nichols said, could you let your cousin have her say, please? Now I was even more nervous. But the thing is, there's something called security clearances, and that's why, Cameron. Now Miss Nichols interrupted. Could you explain that, please? Not everyone has had the experience of living in the White House. A couple people giggled. I took a deep breath, and then I said how a security clearance means the Secret Service makes sure people visiting the White House aren't planning to hurt anything. And it takes a while for the Secret Service to do that. And then if there's a problem, well, that person can't come, I said. And then I sat down. Wait just a moment, Cameron. Is there a problem? Unhappily, I stood back up. At this rate, Saturday would come and go with me still standing in front of the class. I don't think so, I said. But Aunt Jen told me not to bug her about it. She and Mrs. Silver will let everyone know at the same time, and she promises that will be as soon as possible. Ms. Nichols thanked me and said, finally, I could sit back down. So now I hope everyone's questions about Saturday are answered, she said brightly, and we can move along with our day. Ms. Nichols may be the education professional and I may be the 10-year-old, but even I knew move along with our day was not going to happen. And it didn't. I won't torture you with details, but maybe you have had a birthday party and your mom let you invite 5 people and everybody was talking about who wasn't going, or maybe you got the lunchbox or the music player or the bicycle everybody wanted and now they're saying you're spoiled, or maybe a friend decided he didn't like you anymore and now his friends won't sit with you at lunch. Well, pretend all those things happened on the same day. Multiply that by times 100 and add in one cousin who spends the whole day insulting your friends' taste in music. That's what Wednesday was like for me. At 3:10, we were packing our backpacks to go home. Courtney tried to make me feel better. I still like you, Cammie, she said, and even if I don't get invited, I will still like you. Thank you, I said. But, she added, I'll like you better if I do get invited. I wasn't looking forward to being trapped in the van with Nate all the way home, but it turned out not to matter. The second our seatbelts were buckled, Granny said, Hooligan is AWOL again, and Mr. Ross is not happy. Like I said, Mr. Ross is the head usher. I know that sounds like a job in a theater, but actually, he's in charge of the whole White House. The job got the name in the 1800s when the main thing that person had to do was usher people in to see the president. So this time, Granny continued, I think we should apprehend the fugitive ourselves. If you don't have too much homework, that is. We don't, we all said at the same time. And we spent the rest of the drive discussing what Aunt Granny calls logistics. In the end, we decided to search from top to bottom. So, after eating our single solitary cookies, along with a bunch of grapes and some celery sticks, we deployed to the solarium. The ground floors and state floors of the White House are the public parts. The family part is mostly on the second and third floors. Mom and Dad and Tessa and I have our bedrooms on the second, while Aunt Jen and Nate's rooms are on the third. From the third floor, there is a ramp that leads up to the solarium. All right, troops, Granny said when we reached the top of the ramp. It is now, she looked at her watch, 16:15 hours. Cammie, you take the rooms north of the hall. Tessa, you're going south. Nathan, your job is to search up here in the kitchen and storage rooms. We reconvene at 16:25. Is that clear? Yes, ma'am, we said. And fan out. The three of us ran back toward the hall. Nate went straight ahead. Hooligan, we yodeled. But the only answer was an echoing hooligan. 10 minutes later, we had looked under beds and tables and behind curtains and toilets, but there was not a snuffle or a whimper or of a scritch-scratch. We now know for sure where Hooligan is not, Granny said. I've done a pretty good search of the second floor myself, so let's go downstairs. In the morning, the public can tour the state floor of the White House, so we stay out of the way. But in the afternoon, there aren't tours, so we can come down if we want. I was looking under a sofa in the blue room when Tessa came running. Something was wrong. Was Hooligan hurt? No, not Hooligan. Tessa was out of breath. The baton, the historic Huza one Nate knows about, it's missing. Chapter 7. Not Huza, Susa, I said. Tessa waved her arms. Whatever! Then she explained. She had gone into the East Room looking for Hooligan and found Colonel Michaels. He told me the baton is missing, Tessa said. I said, oh, that's too bad, because I could see she was upset, but really I was relieved nothing bad had happened to Hooligan. Tessa shook her head. You still don't get it, Cammie. It's not too bad. It's really bad. Without the baton, there's no Song Boys. Why not? I asked. The Marine band can't play unless they have it. Nate said so. No band, no Song Boys. Was this true or was this Tessa drama? Come on, I said. We better talk to Colonel Michaels. We found him in the East Room. Remembering how he hadn't exactly forgiven us, I was extra polite. Good afternoon, Colonel Michaels. Good afternoon, Cameron. I suppose your sister has explained. It's becoming a real mystery, Tessa said. Cammie and I are good at solving mysteries. Dad asks us to find his missing glasses all the time. They are usually on his head, I said. Plus, detecting skills run in our family, Tessa went on. Granny used to be a cop. Police officer, I said. Well, I could certainly use the help of skilled detectives, said Colonel Michaels. It's important that I get the baton back before Saturday. Otherwise, how will I keep the beat for the song boys? We know all about your baton, Tessa said. Nate wrote a report on John Philip Sousa, I said before she could get it wrong. Did he now? Said Colonel Michaels. And he mentions the Sousa baton? Tessa nodded. And now the band can't play without it. Colonel Michaels shook his head. Oh dear, that old myth. It isn't true, I said. No, it's not, said Colonel Michaels. Somewhere some author wrote that the Sousa baton is in regular use, and from there someone got the idea we don't perform without it. But the fact is, the Sousa baton is so valuable, it's only used for ceremonial occasions. Ha! I thought. For once, our oh-so-superior cousin got something wrong. Then, what baton is it that's missing? Tessa asked. My own, and I want it back, said Colonel Michaels. Could I assign you two experienced detectives to solve the mystery? Sure, I said. Sure, Tessa said. First, we have some questions. I looked over at my sister. We do? Tessa shrugged. That's what they say in books. Go ahead, said Colonel Michaels. Tessa crossed her arms over her chest. Colonel Michaels, she said, when did you last see the baton? I had it yesterday when I was directing right here in this room, Colonel Michaels said. Then there was the, fracas with your dog, and we packed up in haste. That means in a hurry. I thought I had put the baton away as usual, but when I opened the case today, it was empty. We're sorry about Hooligan, I couldn't help saying. Yes, said Colonel Michaels. I know. In fact, it occurred to me he might be the culprit. Dogs and sticks, you know. With all the excitement, I easily could have set it down for him to pick up. That was good thinking, Tessa said. Thank you, Colonel Michaels said. Do you have more questions? I don't think so, Tessa said. What about you, Cammie? Hooligan couldn't have taken the baton, I said. That's not a question, said Tessa. Oh, sorry, but he couldn't have. Everyone was watching when he went crazy, and after that we had him by the collar. Then Granny did, and then we took him upstairs. He never had a chance to steal anything. Colonel Michaels nodded. Yes, I see. Perhaps I was too quick to blame him. We'll find your baton, Colonel Michaels, Tessa answered him. We'll even get Granny to help. Colonel Michaels picked up his hat. Thank you, girls, and good luck. After that, it was time to go back upstairs, and guess where we found Hooligan? In his bed, relaxing, like he'd been there all day. Tessa and I sat down on the floor beside him. Do you realize all the trouble you caused us? She asked. Where were you anyway? I asked. Hooligan looked up and thumped his tail. I think he wanted to tell us, but he couldn't woof the words. Chapter 8. Most of the time, Nate eats with Tessa, me, and Granny, but that night he was having dinner with Aunt Jen upstairs. They had something particular to talk about, Granny said. She wouldn't tell us what, but she did say the topic had nothing to do with San Diego. Too bad. Dinner was macaroni and cheese with applesauce and green salad. Usually our dinners come from the White House kitchen, and we eat in the family dining room on the second floor. On special occasions, On special occasions, we eat in the small dining room downstairs, and on really special occasions, like if an important queen or a movie director comes to visit, we might get to eat with everybody else in the state dining room. While we ate, we told Granny about how we met up with Colonel Michaels in the East Room, and he asked us to find the missing baton. After that, we asked for detecting advice. I was never actually a detective, you know. I was a beat cop and eventually a sergeant. Then I went to law school, Granny said. That's when Mom was little, right? I asked. Aunt Jen was in preschool when I started, Granny said. and your mom was in 2nd grade like Tessa here. Your grandpa had been dead a couple of years. Why did you want to go to law school? I asked. Granny sat back in her chair. Cops investigate crimes, but they can't put criminals in prison, she said. That's what prosecutors do. And for that job, you have to be a lawyer. Then, I won't lie, money mattered. Most of the time, lawyers earn more than police officers. I had 2 little girls to raise. Even if you weren't a detective, Tessa said, you must have seen mysteries get solved. Plus, you saw how bad guys get caught. Wait a sec, Tessa. We don't even know if there is a bad guy, I said. Probably the baton is just lost. Tessa frowned. That would not be very interesting. Granny laughed. In my experience, most criminals are tripped up by stupidity. Smart people find smarter things to do than commit crimes. Tessa nodded thoughtfully. So the first thing we should do, she said, is look for somebody stupid. Well, detectives first look for anything strange or out of place because it might be a clue, Granny said. Then, of course, they interview witnesses. We already interviewed Colonel Michaels, Tessa said. Excellent, Granny said. Who else was a witness? Everyone in the East Room yesterday afternoon, I said. That includes me, Granny said. But I only saw the baton when it was in Colonel Michaels' hand. I said I thought we should write a list of everybody who was there, then talk to as many as we could. Does that make sense, Granny? It does, she said. But if you're planning on doing interviews tomorrow, you'll have to be quick about it. Your aunt has some kind of dinner going on. Oh, and be sure to take notes. Later you look through your notes and, she tapped her head with her finger, apply logic. I'll take the notes because my handwriting is good, I told Tessa. And you can do the talking because, I hesitated. I'm a loudmouth, Tessa grinned. I knew someday that would come in handy. After dinner, we wrote our list. We probably wouldn't be able to talk to the musicians, but we could talk to people from the staff who had been there. The ones we remembered were Mr. Ross, Mr. Bainey, Mr. Patel, Mrs. Hedges, and Mr. Kane. Mom had a meeting that went late, so it was Granny who came in to say goodnight. I was sinking into my pillow when there was a knock and the door opened a crack. Are you awake? Mom whispered. We didn't used to be, Tessa said. Tonight, Mom was dressed in her Madam President clothes. Stockings, high heels, skirt, and jacket. She came in and sat on the edge of Tessa's bed, but immediately bounced back up. Ow, what was... She held something up. Ski Barbie, Tessa said. Thanks for finding her, Mom. Mom said, those poles are sharp. Then she apologized for coming in so late. The senators are still arguing about that energy bill. If it goes much longer, I'll have to run up to Capitol Hill and knock heads together. Cool, Tessa said. Can I watch? Mom laughed. I didn't mean it literally. I meant, I'll have to offer some encouragement. Now, what did you girls do today? We told her about school and about how Hooligan went AWOL again. I was going to explain how Colonel Michaels had assigned us to find his baton, but then it was obvious Mom had other things on her mind. I wanted to talk to you about Nathan, she said. I've been thinking, and I have a suggestion to help you all get along better. No, Tessa, it's not San Diego. Tessa frowned. Mom continued. What I was thinking is that family relations are like international relations. For example, lately the United States has not been getting along with the government of a certain nearby nation. Now, what do you think my Secretary of State has advised me to do? I thought of Nate. Declare war? Mom gave me a look. No, Cameron. What he suggests is that we help the other country. Send experts and money to make their farms and roads and hospitals better. Nate hasn't got farms and roads and hospitals, Tessa said, and I spent my allowance on pink boots. Remember? I helped Mom out. Are you saying we should be nice to Nate? Mom nodded. Exactly. I don't know much about other countries, Tessa said, but I know my cousin, and that is a dumb idea. Tessa, I said, you can't say dumb to the president. I didn't say dumb to the president. I said dumb to my mother. Aren't we supposed to express our opinions? We're supposed to be polite, I said. Could I say something? Mom asked. You should express your opinion, Tessa said. Mom said thank you. She planned to. Then, I'm wondering if either of you has ever heard the saying, you catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. It means nice often gets you what you want. So if we're nice, Nate will leave? Tessa asked. Mom didn't say anything right away. I think she was counting to 10. Finally, she took a breath. Let's try an experiment, she said. How about if you two are extra nice to Nate and we see what happens? 1 week only. It was tough to say no when Mom is being reasonable. 1 week only, I repeated. Tessa? 1 week only, Tessa grumbled. All this time, Mom had been sitting on Tessa's bed. Now Tessa twined both arms around Mom's neck. Gently, Mom removed one arm, then the other. She gave Tessa a kiss. She came over and gave me one too. At the door, she said, "Good night, muffins." But I could tell already her mind had moved to other things, probably knocking heads together. Our door closed. Tessa whispered, Cameron, I don't get it. Is Mom saying Nate's a fly? I yawned. I think so. Sort of. That's what I thought, Tessa said. So after we're done being nice, we should try a different experiment. What's that? Tessa giggled. A fly swatter. That is the end of chapter 8, and we're going to stop there for now. What do you think about them so far? Here's your assignment. You have met all these characters. You know Tessa, you know Cameron, you know Granny, you know Nate, you know Mom a little bit, Hooligan, a bunch of other people who work where they live. Who do you like best so far? Who do you like least so far? I want you to let me know. Who's your favorite character? Who do you like? And who is your least favorite character? Who do you not like so far? Let me know. Have a great day, guys.